Today's video is all about our Wild Berry Blast special that's going on right now. So within the special, you have exclusive pattern paper in our color of the year Wild Berry. You can see here most of the patterns. Just loving that Wild Berry color. And then, of course, these different exclusive pattern papers. And then you also get some exclusive cardstock. So you can see here that some of them have the UV coating, and then some of them actually have the foil, and then this one even has a holographic. Let me hold that up. So it's holographic. Again, these are exclusive to the Wild Berry Blast special. I'll leave links down below. But let's take a look at the layout and how it's going to come together. I am going to be using the Make It From Your Heart Volume 5. This is our newest how-to book, Make It From Your Heart, as far as layouts go. If you're not familiar with our how-to books, you are given layouts, and then we also have cards. And then not only do these thumbnails kind of show you what you're working with, I usually like to start in the thumbnail section, which is at the very beginning. But then once you flip to this page, I'm going to be using page 44. Once you flip to that page, it actually shows you exact measurements. Now, because of copyright purposes, I can't actually show you that on camera, but I definitely wanted to show you what I would be using for the layout for today. So let me clear my desk, get some things cut, and then we will talk about my photo choices and how I scale those photos down to smaller photos. So I get asked a lot how I print my 3x3, 2x2, 3x4s, all of that. I have done a tutorial and I've actually posted it yesterday on my YouTube channel. I'll leave a link down below. But I wanted to show you once I have the 4x6 in hand, what I do. So this particular one, since it's a 4x6 and there's only 2 photo wells, these are 3x4. And so I'm needing 3x3 photos. So you can see here where I've left about an inch at the top of these photos so they could be easily cropped down. So to start, I'm going to trim these apart. So I am going to be trimming these 2 7/8 by 2 7/8, and that's going to allow me a white border that I can mat with cardstock. So I have just lined that up to 2 7/8, and I'm going to cut. And then just working with this, I am going to start trimming the 4-inch side to 2 7/8. So I want to take a little bit off the bottom. That's just a whole lot of shirt. So I trimmed off that side, and then now I can flip it, line it up in 2 7/8, and I should be able to trim some and not chop off my daughter's head. So there is a 2 7/8 photo. When that is matted on a 3x3 piece of cardstock, then we'll have a 3x3 photo well. Same thing with this one. Now I do have just some extra space on this one. So I'm going to go ahead and trim that off. That was the space that was in between the 2 photos. And then I'm going to line this right side up to 2 7/8 and go ahead and cut the rest off. And for this particular photo, I'm going to take the entire portion from this top part. So I'm going to line the bottom of the photo to 2 7/8 and then just go ahead and cut that off. And now I have a 2 7/8 by 2 7/8 photo. For my base page, I am going to do a fun little technique that I actually learned during Close to My Heart's virtual album retreat this weekend. So I have Wild Berry ink, and then I just have one of my blocks. So I'm just turning that block over onto my Wild Berry ink. And I just love these album retreats because even though I've been doing this scrapbooking for 20 plus years with Close to My Heart, it's weekends like this that I learn so much. Something as simple as this. So you girls and guys see me do a lot of splatter on my layouts, but this is a new form of splatter. So I turned the block over onto my Wild Berry ink, and then I just took regular water and I spritzed my block, And now I'm going to take this just brush. This is a water brush, but you can use any brush. And I am just going to flick that ink onto my base layout. Like, how cool is that? And you can see here, I mean, it's doing it a lot. It doesn't really have to. You can do it little or as much as you want. But I mean, just how easy was that? Otherwise, you know, you guys see me putting it down on my mat, adding more water, doing all that. That way it is just super quick, super easy. And then being that I've done it on my all-purpose mat, I'm just going to wipe this clean with a damp paper towel and then we are done. It won't take very long for this to dry. So while I'm cleaning my mat, I'm going to set that aside to dry and then we can get on with the rest of the layout. While that is drying, I'm going to go ahead and show you how I've cut a couple of pieces. So again, this is that exclusive cardstock as part of the Wildberry Blast. We've got that floral that has the holographic florals, and then we've just got that UV coated. These are cut down to 6 by 10 and 6 by 7, and I am going to cut triangles. So I'm just going to line those corners up into my cutter. You need to know your cutter and where your blade goes. My blade goes right against this little bar. So that's where I lined up those pieces. So I've got this one. And then I want to do this piece. So I'm going to repeat the process again, corner to corner, and I want to keep this one because this layout's going to actually have opposite corners like that. So we've got those, and then I have a bunch of, remember my photos are 3 by 3, so I have 3 by 3 photo placeholders, and then I have 3 1/8 by 3 1/8 Wildberry cardstock. And for this, I want to just ink distress all the way around, and I actually want to sponge. So you know there's several ways that you can ink distress your pieces. You can sponge, or you can just turn that ink pad directly onto your cardstock. Each one gives a slightly different look. I'm kind of going for a softer look here because I've got that bold splatter. And so I just kind of want to add just a little bit of color. Not much of this cardstock is going to show from behind that white placeholder. So the sketch I'm using, again, from the Make It From Your Heart Volume 5, calls for 6 3 by 3. And it's actually a 2-page layout. I am just condensing it to a 1-page by just using one of the layouts. So it calls for 6 3 by 3 photos, but one of my quote-unquote photos is actually journaling, and it's not 3 by 3, so I'm only going to be using 5 of these. And then I want to do the same with these exclusive cardstock pieces as well. Again, just adding ink to those edges. It's something that's just really quick to do, and it just kind of adds a punch, if you ask me. If you've ever seen the difference between, and I think I actually have a video, if you've ever seen the difference between ink distressing and then pieces that aren't, you definitely can tell. So I have those. I have these. I'm going to go ahead and get my photos taped down on these and allow that base page just to dry a little bit longer. Okay, so I just have one more photo to do. Again, you can see here by using this 3 by 3 and cutting down my photo just a tad, it allows for a tiny 1/16 of an inch to show all the way around. And same thing with this Wildberry cardstock mat. I feel that there's already a whole lot of Wildberry, so I kept that mat pretty skinny. So I've got all of those done, and then now let's see if that base page is dry. Okay, so it is dry. You can see where I just love it. I've got some big splatters. I've got little bitty ones. Again, I have a whole lot. And then we are just going to attach these triangles. Now you can see that I kept my splatters toward the top. That is because the majority of the bottom is hidden by these. So your smaller triangle goes on first, and then your larger triangle goes on second, overlapping that just a bit. And I can tell that I'm going to have to trim some off. Okay, so I have that trimmed down, and then the next piece is a zip strip on the opposite side. And so this is just a zip strip from that exclusive pattern paper. And then I've gone ahead and I've sponged it like the other pieces. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to sponge along the white spaces of that base page that is showing. And this is just what's residual on my sponge. Okay, so originally I was going to do the triangles on the bottom, but I'm actually thinking I like them on the left. And believe it or not, this is actually an option shown in the Make It From Your Heart book. So it definitely shows you different options to do. So this one is a wall that I recolored. It was originally red in the original photo, but I recolored it to Wildberry. So I really just want to make sure that it is on the white space. Everything else, it really doesn't matter. Except, let's do this. So what we did not at the nail salon is going to go on the left. And what we did at the nail salon is going to go on the right. And then my little journaling spot will go down there. So to make it really easy to line these up, I'm going to pull out my Versamat. And that's going to make it easy for my T-ruler to sit over here on the right side so I can line up these photos. Now I definitely want a bigger gutter over on the right than I do on the left. So I want that middle photo, I want it centered, and then I am going to put my top and my bottom photo. So I'm going to center this photo where my 6 inches, here's my 6 inches, is right there. Again, I'm not pressing down a whole lot just in case I need to move them around. And then leaving my T-ruler there to line up these right edges. I'm going to place that top photo, and then I'm going to do the same thing with the bottom photo. And these are about 1/8 of an inch a piece. And then I'm going to do the same thing with these other photos. Now on this one, I actually want to move my T-ruler to the top because I want my left and my right photo to be lined up evenly at the top. So I'm going to speed this up just a little bit. I ended up looking at the layout and realizing that I needed to move all those photos down just a bit. So while I'm doing this, this is a great time to remind you that if you are liking what you are seeing, go ahead and hit that like button. It helps YouTube show you more videos of the same, and it also helps my channel out in the process. Okay, I'm a little bit happier with the placement of those photos. So now I can really make sure that those are adhered down. I am going to use the stamp set all day, every day, just to stamp a couple of little sentiments to embellish with. So I'm just going to use the carrier sheet that it comes with. And again, this Wildberry ink. So there's a sentiment that says more of this with a arrow. So I'm going to stamp that one. And then there is a sentiment that just says in the moment, and I'm going to stamp it directly onto my layout. So I'm going to fussy cut this out. And if you are new here, I have a particular way I like to fussy cut. I like to leave a thin white border around it to almost make it look like a sticker. It also allows, it's a little more forgiving if you're not as straight a cutter like I am. I cannot cut straight to save my life. So if you leave that little white border, then it just kind of allows you a little more leeway. So I'm thinking this is going to go up here to kind of hide that junk in my seat. I have the journaling, and then I have some chipboard pieces that also are exclusive to the Wildberry special. So I definitely want some hearts. So I'm going to pull all the hearts out. I know I don't have many. And this chipboard piece, it's ombre. So you can see some dark pieces here and then some light. So I want to add some hearts that have a little bit of a gradient to them. Now I am going to have another title right there, so I want to keep that in mind. So I've got those two, and then, or actually, I think I might actually put two over here. And I love that those are a lighter Wildberry, so they really stand out against that cardstock. So I think I'm going to do that. And then I've pulled this tab, and I'm thinking it's going to be a perfect spot for the date. And I'm going to put it under the journaling. You can see my journaling is not the same size. So I want it to be a little crooked, but then I don't want it to just look weird over on the right. So by having that little tab right there, I think it'll make it look just a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead and get these glued down. I'm just going to use liquid adhesive for these, just because they're small pieces. So for the rest of my title, I'm going to be pulling from the sticker sheet. Again, this is an exclusive sticker sheet, and I think I actually want to use 3D foam tape for this. So this exclusive sticker sheet is part of the paper packet for the Wildberry Blast, and I'm just taking these stickers and I'm putting them onto my anti-static pouch to remove the sticky, and that will allow me to add 3D foam tape to the back of these. Just want to make sure that powder or whatever's in this anti-static pouch is all off the back of here so it doesn't get on my photo and scratch it. And then I am going to use some thin 3D foam tape to add to the top of my photo. Close to My Heart has thin and then regular, and when I mean thin, I mean the depth, the dimension of it is what I mean. So it is really thin. I really usually use this foam tape when layering, so it's really fun to use it with regular foam tape. And then you kind of get that different dimensions, especially like when you're doing flowers or something like that. One flower can have the thin 3D foam tape, and then the other flower can have the thicker And then I also like to use it on cards that I mail because it doesn't add a whole lot of bulk. So we've got 3 of these stickers, and we've got Memories, This Is Us, and Smile. And I want this to kind of go over here. I don't know if I'm going to use all of them, but I'm definitely liking just those 2. And that way I have something down here, something right here, something right here. So it's like a triangle. So I'm just going to go ahead and peel off the backing and attach that. Again, I haven't pressed down yet because it's hard for me to see if it's actually straight. So I'm going to pick it up right quick. Move this down just a little bit. Same thing with that one. And I did add some wild berry sequins. Again, the sequins, the gems, the wild berry dots, the wild berry flowers, it's all part of the Wild Berry Blast. You will save 20% on these packages. And I wanted to point out that the wild berry has even got lighter shades of sequins. It even has silver. So you can see here, I've got 2 shades right there, or 2 different colors of pink. I've even kind of got a duller true wild berry sequin there. And I just think that extra bling just kind of adds to the holographic flowers right there. So that is that. Again, you can see that UV coating. You can see that holographic pattern on those flowers. And then that splatter technique that I showed you. I will leave links down below to the Wild Berry Blast special that is going on right now on my website. Remember, this is the color of the year. So if you are loving this color like I am, go ahead and grab it now, because this color will be replaced in September. So August or September, can't remember. But it will be replaced. We'll have a new color of the year. And then I will also leave links down to a blog hop that I'm participating in, where other Close to My Heart makers are showing you projects using this special so you can be inspired. And then of course I'll link the video to how I print smaller size photos down below. I know a lot of you asked me how I do that. So I have done a screen share and showed you how I did that. And then, as always, if you liked what you saw, please leave me a comment and a thumbs up. And if you aren't already a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button and sign up for notifications so you won't miss another crafty video. Thanks, and have a great week.